welcome to GiBi's Spooky Shack. This is the Five Nights at Freddy's community update. Biggest news of the last week. There's a book coming out in early December 2nd, I believe. An updated FNAF Ultimate Guide. There's been some leaks about it in the past where we knew the names of all the chapters in the book, and Chapter 13 was called Chica's Secret Party. This was interesting because such a FNAF game does not exist. These words have never been spoken in the English language before. The book ended up being leaked on store shelves a couple days ago now, so we have full access to the entire book, and so everyone in the community was able to look over what Chica's Secret Party was. There's 4 pages in the book that show what is clearly an ARG. This book describes a game that never existed. It has step-by-step instructions for how to beat it, with some tantalizing hints that beating it and unlocking a secret will open the FNAF 4 box. One of the opening paragraphs in the chapter states that if you don't know what this game is, you could always check one of the fan wikis. This has led people, myself included, to believe that when the book is supposed to come out, again, December 2nd, something on the FNAF wiki or something on Scott's Games, his website, will change that will allow us to access the real minigame that the book is describing, and by following its steps we'll be able to beat it and unlock lore. The second most popular belief is that such a game does not exist and never will exist, and there's something hidden in the text of the book that will solve some sort of mystery within the FNAF community. There is a third theory, a theory that is obviously factually completely incorrect, which is that this chapter in the book was an AI hallucination. A lot of the book has some poor writing, and some people have equated this to being written by AI. I personally really doubt this. It does not read the way that AI text reads typically if they use ChatGPT. Some people have pointed out that the book takes theories in quotes, or it sort of rewords videos from Rytoast. That does not read as AI to me, that reads as plagiarism. But no, this chapter, with in-depth descriptions of things in this non-existent minigame, with screenshots that were clearly made only for this chapter of this fake game, are not an AI hallucination. That's not how AI hallucinations work. This is real, this is an ARG. There's been a couple of videos posted about the contents of this chapter, Zedorox and Shizu, whose videos I'll link in the description. Although, while I think that going over the facts of what this chapter is important, I have warned against drawing any conclusions, given that the book isn't supposed to be out yet, and we might be missing certain context. Again, if this game's going to exist or not. One of the more interesting things I found discussing the book with other theorists is a reinforcement of my idea that bias is incredibly powerful. If you read through the book, it describes how you're supposed to go through this 3-story house through multiple rooms and give kids cupcakes as Toy Chica. Some of the screenshots on the first page mimic things in previous FNAF minigames. So something looks like Chica's Party from FNAF 3, and this screenshot clearly looks like Midnight Motorist. It was my reading that this minigame is an amalgamation of many different games across the franchise. Again, Chica's Party, Midnight Motorist, it's in a 3-story house with lots of different rooms, including a master bedroom and a basement. Other people have taken this incredibly literally, to say that this game actually takes place in a house in the franchise that has 3 stories, leading some people to say that the Midnight Motorist house has 3 stories, or the Afton house has 3 stories, or it takes place in Edwin's house that for some reason didn't burn down. Maybe that's not the canon ending, it has 3 stories, if you include the basement thing. I really do not think it's that literal. I think it's a game level. The second interesting bias thing is that, again, one of these screenshots is from Midnight Motorist, which has linked people to believing that the game has something to do with Midnight Motorist. And I disagree. Again, I think it's taking aspects and symbols and visuals from all across the franchise. Because this screenshot depicts Midnight Motorist, you're playing as Toy Chica, who is of course William Afton, and they're standing outside the window. This has led many people to believe that this is confirmation that Orange Guy in Midnight Motorist is William. You are playing as a William analog, that being Toy Chica, you're standing where Orange Guy stood in Midnight Motorist. I had the exact opposite takeaway. One of the paragraphs describing what you're supposed to do in these levels shows that in the master bedroom level, if you look out the window you can see Bonnie in the backyard. This to me is the most clear evidence that the animatronic hiding in the bushes is Bonnie, and Spring Bonnie is obviously also referred to as just Bonnie. To me, this clearly confirms the guy in the bushes is William, and he's there for an MCI kid who breaks out the window and runs away with him to Freddy's. I entered a voice chat of theorists who were talking about the book, with, like, Sweet Victory playing, like, guys, we have just confirmed Midnight Motorist MCI. And they're like, you're crazy, because Toy Chica is William Afton. Because this is literally the FNAF house. And I genuinely felt like I was going crazy. Given the same information, I saw what I wanted to see, other people saw what they wanted to see. And that's just FNAF, that's just how it's always going to work. Incredibly frustrating. Anyway, now we're going to move on to comments from people in my comment section. So, we have this person saying, no way this is an ARG, it's either a complete hoax or Scott Scholastic churning out AI slop. It is not a hoax, the book is completely real. It is not AI. It is definitively 100% not AI, that's not how AI works. Moving on to the FNAF 2 trailer, a couple days ago we got one in which Vanessa speaks a line saying that there's only one ghost in the FNAF 2 location, and it's probably the puppet. So this has led Mr. Helpy to ask, if there's only one ghost here, what does that say about the Wizards? It's unclear whether or not the Wizards are physically in the building when Vanessa says that, but the toys almost certainly are. Which makes me think that the toys, and possibly the Wizards, are being puppeted by the puppet, that the puppet is in control of them and they're not necessarily haunted by actual kids. I think that this is much more likely to be referencing the Wizards. Again, I think this is much more likely to be referencing the toys. What does that mean for FNAF 2? Does that mean that the theories about what brought the toys to life, so Molten MCI / something borrowed, something new / the DCI, all these theories for who could be haunting the toys, could this just be stating the toys are merely controlled by the puppet in the game? I'm hesitant to use anything from the movies as lore for the game. This is FNAF 2, which is a sequel to FNAF 1, whereas in the games FNAF 2 is a prequel. There's lots of other things that definitely don't line up. So while I don't think that this can give us lore for the games, it could be something that sparks an idea for us to revisit the game and the franchise as a whole with this idea in mind. Because as far as I know, no one's ever thought, what if the toys aren't possessed, they're just being controlled by the puppet? In the movie, the puppet is depicted more like a conductor of the band, so then the puppet conducting the toy animatronics actually makes a lot of sense. So I do really want to go back through FNAF 2 and kind of see if what's depicted in the movie is actually accurate. Maybe we should wait for the movie to come out. But I don't think we can use the movie lore one-to-one to inform the game lore. Hey GiBi, do you believe in network theory? I don't know what that is. A couple days ago, I did a live stream where me and a bunch of theorists watched the first FNAF movie, pausing every couple of seconds to react to the things that were happening on screen, to analyze them, and to make predictions. It's split into 3 parts, and the first 2 are not available on YouTube. That's because they were taken down due to copyright complaints, which I disagree with. What happened to the live stream? Did it get DMCA'd? I was looking forward to watching it. Yes, it did. What I'm planning to do in the future is create a highlights video that goes through all the important things that we said on the streams. That video will be posted on this channel, GiBi's Spooky Shack. What is the field? The field, or the 0 point field, is a real-world, quasi-religious belief in the idea that everything in the entire universe is energy. It's all the 0 point field. The evidence for its existence is that in temperatures of absolute zero, where there should be absolutely no energy, we still detect movement in subatomic particles. And so the idea is that there's sort of this underlying energy that runs through everything. And if there's an underlying energy that runs through everything, where quantum particles, whether they're in my physical body or they're in my earbud, that they're connected in a way that would allow humans to have psychic powers. It's basically a real-world belief in the Force from Star Wars. You can levitate things because physical objects are an illusion and you can just move them with your mind. I can psychically talk to you because my quantum particles can talk to your quantum particles and affect the way that you're thinking. It's a 20th century New Age movement for people who are rejecting classic religion, but still want to believe in the concept of a god, where yes, the entire universe is one, we are all connected, and that one thing is what we call God. The field is canon in Five Nights at Freddy's, at least in the Fazbear Fright series of books. It's how Agony works, it's how Remnant works, it's how animatronics come to life via ghosts. They're not haunted in the way that we might think of a ghost going into a suit of armor and making it move around. They're haunted in that because time's not real, because everything is just energy, because time's not real, sort of the imprint of someone who used to be alive is able to interface with technology, which is how animatronics get haunted. That is how Agony works in the books. It also allows for time travel, because time's not real, so it's how the ball pit works and into the pit. It's how animatronics come to life. It's what Agony is. It's how Remnant exists. If you use the 0 point field, basically the idea is that you can use your mind to alter things. So if you're unhealthy or sick, you could use your mind to basically just get rid of that sickness. So that's how Remnants heals you, because Remnants been shown to heal people in FNAF. So the field is basically the term we use for the magic system in Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's based on a real thing. As far as video recommendations, besides Shizu and Zeta Rock's videos I talked about earlier, I want to recommend Withered Circle's video, The FNAF Lore Really Isn't That Complicated. It's a half-hour video going over the timeline from his perspective, and it's very well edited. I'm also going to break my rule about not shouting out smaller channels, a rule I implemented because a smaller channel recently used their influence to harm people. But on reevaluating that thought, I've considered that not shouting out small channels and letting this one person ruin things for everyone is more detrimental to the community than I want this person to be able to have on us. So going forward, I'm probably not going to do one small channel shout out every video, which is what I used to do. It's just going to be every once in a while. And this week, an amazing video came across my feed. The Mimic is a Dinosaur by Erisp. Phenomenal video. I'm not going to give any more context, just go and watch it. And of course, it would be wrong for me to use this opportunity to not shout out the video that I just uploaded over on my main channel, Horror Homestead, which is a 36-hour deep dive into the Five Nights at Freddy's Fazbear Frights books. Go and watch that video, please. I spent over a year making it. Thank you for watching. Be sure to be nice to each other in the comments, consider supporting the creators you admire, never lose sight of the things that are important to you. Remember that Freddy stands for Friendly, Respectful Engagement, Discussion, and Discourse Yield Success. And if you have questions you want answered next time, in next week's video, I'm going to try to make this happen every single week now. Make sure to leave those questions in the comments below. I will see you next time.